The Coldplay concert scandal was so much more than a viral video and news headlines around the world. It was a public relations masterclass. My name is Melissa DiMercurio, and you're watching Desk Side with Melissa. I have 15 years experience in corporate communications and PR, and today we are breaking down this scandal to talk about what went wrong, what went right, and how you can avoid a crisis at any point in your business. So let's do a brief recap. You know what happened. At the Coldplay concert in Boston, Chris Martin, the frontrunner of the band, was doing a kiss cam and interacting with the audience until he landed on what seemed to be a canoodling couple that was having fun and watching the concert, until they realized they were on the kiss cam and they parted ways like they were caught red-handed. And this sparked everything that went down this week, with this viral video just spreading like wildfire all over TikTok. The internet went to work to investigate who these two were, and boy, did they come upon gold. The two people in the video, Astronomer CEO and the head of HR, and yes, both are married, and this was very obvious that they were cheating together. So this all dropped on a Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, and as I was watching the headlines, I was like, where is the company in all of this? Because this is so much more than just two people getting caught cheating. This is a multi-million-dollar company, front runners, the C-suite, that got caught. So this became just fodder for the headlines really quick. It went from a viral video on TikTok all over social media and quickly caught wind to mainstream media and top tier outlets like CNN, Fox, ABC. Every major news outlet was picking this up, and then it started to catch fire around the world. I actually took to TikTok and sent prayers and thoughts and my condolences to the director of communications and their whole PR team, because I just knew that they were dealing with a monster. So as we continue to watch this play out on a national and then international scene, I was sort of watching to see, well, what's going to happen with the PR team? Are they going to put out a statement? Is the CEO going to issue an apology? They stayed quiet for a very long time. I started to do some research, and I realized that the director of comms and his team and most of the company were positioned in LA. And this all went down in Boston at the concert on the East Coast. So there definitely was a time zone working against them when it comes to news cycles. So something that dropped on the East Coast quickly got fire and recognition. By the time the director of comms had his coffee in the morning, he was in hell. It wasn't until Friday night, around 5, 6 o'clock Eastern time, did they issue a real statement. This was risky to be silent that long. And in the world of communications, we are trained as professionals that you want to get out ahead of the narrative. And here's what really went down that I've never seen before. It's just a sign of the times of what is going on. As they were trying to get their shit together of what they were going to put out there into the world about this, people started to write their own narratives. Obviously, there were the memes, the headlines, people just telling the overall story. But then a statement came out, and it duped everybody. It duped me. I was even covering it saying this was the statement. It was actually AI generated. It was a total hoax. And people actually picked it up. The news channels picked it up as a real statement. There was also misinformation about the people that were in the viral video. When these internet sleuths were investigating this entire thing, there was misinformation about one of the women off to the side, that she was a right hand of the head of HR and was smiling and looked embarrassed and probably knew about this affair. It actually turned out that that wasn't the case. So how do you clean this all up? Obviously, they had to put a statement out because they had two pieces of misinformation that they needed to correct, which, to be fair, if they would have put the general statement out way sooner, they would have squashed all of that ahead of time. That's why staying silent for too long is entirely too risky for any corporation. Let's talk about the 3 PR lessons that every corporation and business can learn from this viral scandal. First and foremost, speed matters. We know that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm sure there were lawyers involved, stakeholders, investors. I actually saw that this company just in May had got a $93 million funding. There was so much going on behind the scenes, and it makes sense why it took a whole 48 hours to get a statement out. That's a lot of red tape and a lot of people to go through to make sure that this decision of what is being said is copacetic and everybody can sort of get on board with what's going out there. But the thing is, the longer you wait, the more people are going to connect the dots, spread misinformation, going to tell the story for you. It just gets out of hand. So the faster that you can get to some kind of canned statement, just even saying you're investigating the situation and more information's to come, that sort of dies down the fuel to the fire a little bit, because you're sort of giving the media what it wants in a way, and you are showcasing that you're on top of it. The second PR lesson that I always tell people is that you have to really trust your PR and communications team. In this case, for Astronomer, they had a built-in director of communications. Let those folks take the lead. Let them talk to the lawyers. Let them put a statement together. I've seen way too many times, even in my own career, where the comms people sort of are to the side of the issue, and the CEO, the board of directors, the lawyers are all sort of furiously working. When you bring the PR team in or the comms people in from the very beginning and really listen to their strategy, because again, they're trained professionals in this. And I've got news for you. You can't practice this. You study it, but you cannot practice a scandal. You're either in the fire or you're not. So when you're in the fire, use the experts that have been trained, really listen to them and go through their process, because their strategy is going to be one that is going to save you every single time. The third lesson is always be prepared. You can never be too prepared for a crisis. Just like when you sit down with your kids and go through a fire safety plan for your home, or think through next steps. If God forbid you lost your job, what would be, the financial decisions that you would make? You have savings accounts ready to go, or money stashed away for rainy days. Crisis communications plans are not just a nice to have, they're a must have. Crisis communications plans include some of these general statements that you can quickly put together, issue, and then send out. These are things like saying, this is under investigation. We were looking at this. You can even put together a few sentences about your business values, your culture, those sort of things that you're looking into. You want to have some canned statements ready to go that you can just adjust and tweak when the time comes. You have to be ready. So what happens next after the general statement goes out? Well, I can tell you that the Astronomer team is probably working overtime this weekend and getting into place their next steps. Again, timing is everything, and there are steps to this. There's getting the general statement out quick and in a hurry so you can control the narrative. And then next week, they're going to have to take some really good look at their team, their culture. I would imagine that people are going to step down from their positions. There's going to be restructuring happening. Whatever the plan is internally, they're going to have to cough it up, because the media is waiting with bated breath. And similar to when it first dropped, if you don't feed that animal and at least give them a concluding, thing to the whole story, they're going to keep digging, and they're going to keep looking for sources outside of your company to sort of string a narrative and story together. You never want that to happen. You want to make sure that you're controlling it at all angles. So while the media sort of dies down for the weekend or moves on to another story, come Monday morning, those news editors are going to be talking to the reporters and saying, what's next in the Coldplay scandal? You want to be out ahead of that. So you always have to be thinking 10, 20 steps ahead. And the best way to do that is to lean on your PR people. If you've enjoyed this has been sort of a PR masterclass. Actually, when I was in college, we would take these courses called case study lessons, and we would go through different headlines, scandals like this one. We would talk through what went down, what went right, what went wrong, and just really taking a look at the steps and the strategies that worked for some of these big corporations. There's always going to be outliers. Who the hell knew that there would be an AI generated statement that would actually get picked up and be believed? These things are outliers. You just never know what's going to happen in a scandal. But the best thing you can do is be prepared and have your company prepared for what's to come. Because let's be honest, as your business grows, as you gain funding, as you gain, trust or credibility, it takes a lot to keep those positive reputations going. So you always have to be prepared. So I want to know from you, what do you think that they did right, did wrong, or what they should have done differently? Get in the comments and let me know. I love talking to you guys about this stuff. Marketing and public relations and communications is just, I could sit up all night with some espresso and talk to you about this all night. So please get in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you are a PR and comms professional, weigh in. I would love to know what you think and what your strategy would be to handle this Coldplay scandal. Class is concluded. Thanks for watching Desk Side with Melissa. Did you know that we also have a podcast? Be sure to go to anywhere that you get your podcasts to listen to me on the road. We're going to be doing more of these, breaking down headline news in the moment when these scandals are happening, but also going back through the files and checking out things that happen in history to break down and make sure that you understand how crisis communications works and how to make sure that you have the best public relations strategies for your business. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time, Desk Side.